Ruben Amorim said he expected to learn a lot about his players against Southampton. Well, he did. Not all of it good. Next up, only 3 days later, is Brighton. Who will be fit and ready for the game? Who can he trust? And who starts with Ahmed? Let's run through the starting 11 as we continue through a very busy period of 4 games in 10 days from United that started at home against Southampton. So next up for United, we've got Brighton at Old Trafford. And after that largely diabolical performance against Southampton, Amorim's going to want to see a difference. Every fan's going to want to see a difference. And surely these players are, if they've got any sort of sense of self-pride. But thanks to Ahmed, we got the result, which was the most important thing. I'm going to suggest some changes to this starting 11 that I genuinely think will help United be better. And you can let me know what you think about the starting 11 and your match prediction in the comments. And if you can, please drop a like on the video. It does make a big, big difference. But that man right there, Ahmed, saved United's bacon against Southampton with an individual 12-minute hat-trick that dragged us out of the mud after a relegation-level, really, performance against Southampton, a team which was statistically the worst ever in the Premier League and now still is after 21 games because we beat them. But going into this game, Ruben Amorim is sort of pulling no punches. He's not hiding away from the fact that he expects the rollercoaster version of Manchester United to remain for the rest of the season. The swing between the performances against Liverpool and Arsenal to that against Southampton, that's like the two extremes, the real extremes of what you could expect from a football team. So going into this game, I'm not really sure what to expect. Brighton won, I think, for the first time since November, but Brighton have had a very, very poor season by how consistent they've been in these last few seasons. However, they'll be G'd up after that result, and they'll be G'd up coming to Old Trafford. Don't need to remind you about some of the games we've had against them in recent years. So this was the starting 11 against Southampton, and there were problems. Problems everywhere. Tiredness was clearly a factor, and I think that's going to be important in terms of the starting 11, but also some issues that I think we saw. If I'm going to say the most important player to return to this starting 11, I'm going to choose Harry Maguire, which is a real credit to him, genuinely. I keep saying it, but I'm going to keep calling myself out about it because my criticism of him was so fierce, but now he's turned into a leader without the armband for Ruben Amorim and an example to others. And I think Maguire comes straight back into this starting 11, and I think what we'll see is Lenny Yoro get taken out of the spotlight just for a game. Or maybe not even for a game. Maybe he'll come off the bench. I don't quite know. But that was a lesson learned for Lenny Yoro. Thankfully, because of Ahmad's hat-trick, it's not a lesson which impacts our season. It can just be like a personal lesson for him now because we got the 3 points. But he was skinned by Sulemana. Was he going too touch tight? Was he stepping back too often? He'll learn from that and go, right, okay, well, in this situation now, I'm going to approach that differently in the Premier League because maybe that would have worked in Liga, but it didn't work there. Anyway, I think Maguire comes into that starting 11 and he's not going to play as the right-sided centre-back. De Ligt is. I think that feels like a relatively obvious change to me. Now, probably for the first time this season, I'm going to question the performance of Mazraoui. So there's no way I'm going to go deep on Mazraoui. I don't know whether him staying so deep as the left-sided wing-back was a tactical choice or the fact that Mazraoui just decided to stay deep. It feels like it was a tactical choice. Like you saw, the concept of it was Ahmad as the right wing-back was supposed to be the one that pushed forward, and Mazraoui was the one who kind of stayed in shape. But by doing so, there was always a massive amount of space that Southampton exploited. But I think a really important part of this game revolves around this guy and where he plays, all right? Which is obvious because he's our best player right now. But Ahmad from right wing-back got a hat-trick against Southampton. I don't think we should see Ahmad start at right wing-back against Brighton. Now, let me explain why, right? Because I think we will see this. Well, maybe we won't see this, but this is my suggestion. I think you'll see Mazraoui come back to right wing-back. You'll see Dalot come back in. Of course, he's now served his one-game suspension. I think you will see Garnacho drop to the bench. And I think you will see Ahmad pushed further up. But there's also some other changes I'll explain in midfield. In terms of the overall defensive shape, that's what I would do. I put Mazraoui back at right wing back. I put Dalot back as left wing back, and I push Ahmad further forward. Because the other change is this: Ugarte looked tired. Ugarte was tired. Amorim said it after the game. He was pretty much flawless against Arsenal and Liverpool in the biggest games. He was such an engine that made the world of difference. Now, against Southampton, Ugarte and Mainu had to cover so much more ground because Hojlund and Bruno and Garnacho were kind of operating a bit of a disconnected high press. It kind of looked a little bit like Erik ten Hag's football. So much pressing up front, the midfield wasn't supporting it. By doing so, you create huge gaps in between the lines, and Southampton kept finding them. And the same thing existed between the midfield and the defence. We weren't compact, and they really abused that. Now, what I think we will see is this, right? I think you will see Mainu drop to the bench. I think you will see Bruno drop back in as one of the central midfielders. And I think Ugarte will start. I don't think he will drop. No, this isn't a case of. I shouldn't use the word drop. I don't think he will rest and rotate both Mainu and Ugarte. I thought he would rest Mainu against Southampton. And I'm going to be putting Mainu for the same situation here. If he's going to choose one of the two, I think he starts Ugarte. And dropping Bruno in there gives him that tempo from deeper that sometimes Amorim likes. I'm personally not the biggest fan of Bruno dropping deeper. But by doing so, it allows for this, which we haven't seen so far, and I just kind of feel like it would work. Starting both Zirkzee and Hojlund together. The reason I'm saying that, right, is by starting Zirkzee was so good against Southampton because he was the enabler. As the number 9, he was the man that was holding the ball up and feeding others and bringing them into play. By playing him as one of the inside forwards, you allow him to still do that role, but then you've got Hojlund playing further ahead of him. And I think that would benefit Hojlund. Having Zirkzee there, clearly he's better as the hold-up man. I don't know. I'm just thinking, if you play Zirkzee in that position, you get all the benefits of playing Zirkzee, whilst also then still having Hojlund in the team. Does that mean that we'll get Hojlund with better balls in behind, better service? I don't quite know. But on paper, to me, I'd like to see that. Those two together, Bruno dropping deeper in this game, and Ahmad pushing further up. That's my starting 11. Whether it works or not, I don't quite know. But in terms of the prediction, I got it bang on for Brighton. No, for Southampton. Will I get it bang on for Brighton? Let's hope so. I'm going for 2-0. That's it. Can't give you a particular reason. And I tell you what, after that game against Southampton, let's be completely honest, a little bit bonkers to suggest that. But saying that, Brighton have been a mix and match. Man, United are a pick and mix, man. United are Jekyll and Hyde. United are so unpredictable. You'd never bet. To be fair, I'd never bet on United as a United fan anyway. Never bet on your own team. These are the rules. I'm going for 2-0. Those are the changes I want to see. Zirkzee and Ahmad as the two inside forwards. Hojlund up front. Bruno deeper replacing Mainu. And Maguire coming back into defence with Yoro dropping to the bench. And maybe he'll come off the bench. I don't know. And Delo returning. So that's how many changes? 1 change, 2 changes, 3. 3 changes to the starting 11. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm going for a 2-0. Probably wrong. We'll find out. But I wasn't wrong about Southampton. Maybe I won't be wrong about Brighton. We'll find out.